Some tech to help keep you cool this summer. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. With us from Gobi Heat, his founder and CEO, Jaye Genung. Hi, Jay.
Hey Fred, thanks for having me back.
Well, great to see you once again. The Gobi Desert is known for its extreme climate. And while you may best be known for some great apparel to help keep us warm, you are also helping to keep us cool. Was that based on requests from customers, or was it a natural evolution?
It was myriad reasons. Yes, I kept hearing you should do cooling too. You should do cooling too, and that's obvious, right? From a business standpoint, it's hard for me to sell heated jackets when it's 110 outside. So from a business standpoint, that was obvious. Um, but I have never wanted to put products out there that aren't good, that people are going to say, or, oh, this is trash. I didn't want to put something out there that was just because I needed summer revenue. So I waited, and it wasn't really until we did a test case in 24 and saw demand. Um, 25 was a little bit of an expansion. And then 26, we're just building on what has been a very well-received collection. And then, we read the news like anybody else. The earth is getting warmer. Temperatures are getting higher and higher, more extreme. We're constantly setting records. And from a health standpoint, and, workwear is always near and dear to my heart. My husband was in the trades for 30 years. We wanted to make sure that those people out there who have to work to make life easier for the rest of us have some solutions that can make life just a little bit more comfortable for them on a day-to-day basis.
And you've approached this cooling apparel using several solutions,
Yes.
giving people some real choices here. Tell us about that.
Yes. So, similar to heat, the heat is much less differentiated, but we use different materials for the heat for different body parts. For example, toes, right, socks and gloves, you get more flexion frequently. So we'll use a little thicker conductor so that you don't see issues. But it's essentially sending a current down a conductor. Cooling is a little more differentiated. So we have evaporative cooling, which we'll talk about in a second. We have ice water circulated cooling. And then we also have fan cooling, basically moving the air around you to get better airflow. And that really comes from studying the environment, not only the climate environment, but the environment that people are maybe working in or just find themselves in outside on a day-to-day basis. And we're seeking to match a solution to that environment, such as evaporative cooling products work exceptionally well in warm, dry climates. They may not work as well in highly humid climates. You're not getting that evaporative effect as much as it dries. And so for the super humid climates, we're encouraging the water cooled or the fan cooled. Fan is also excellent for kind of air stagnant areas such as warehouses where it's hot, but you're not getting any kind of breeze. So we're really seeking to find a solution to specific problems that specific people have rather than just saying this is the one size fits all. It's convenient for us because we only have to carry one product and plan inventory for that product and so on and so forth. But we're really trying to offer options that fit the individual.
Terrific. Well, let's start out with the evaporative technology. You've got the Strata cooling vest out there, very affordable. It's $79, I think. So tell us how it works.
Yeah, so Strata is, I think a lot of you have probably run into evaporative cooling without necessarily thinking about it. You'll even see on our website cooling towels. You get it wet, you snap it. Um, these items are almost ubiquitous. You almost find them you certainly find them in hardware stores, or you'll find them, gas stations even, that they're kind of everywhere. These under $20 cooling towels. Um, the thing about those, now let me be clear, I use my cooling towel every night when I go on my walk. It's 110 outside where I am. And I love it. But some people do struggle with the fact that you are initially wet. And so what we've done with Strata is we have a hybrid fabric where it's out, the outer layer is evaporative cooling, and then the inner layer is laminated to it, and that stays dry. But that also draws your sweat away from your body and assists in the evaporative cooling. So it's very, very effective in dry environments, warm, dry environments, and even some humid environments, just not the extreme humidity. We don't recommend it for that. Not to say that it isn't um, helpful there. It's just not the best foot forward. But you're right, it's $79. There's no battery. You don't have to charge it. If it does start to dry out, you pour a little water over it. And so as long as you have access to water, which goodness, I hope you have access to water if you're outside needing cooling gear. You just put some water on there and it's good to go. So it's also one of my personal favorites. I live in the desert and it's I really think it's a good foot forward and it's being very well received.
Terrific. Then let's talk about the fan technology that you're
Yep.
using. For instance, the AeroVent cooling shell. Um, Fans built into this, and it's a fun product. I think when you first put
Yeah.
it on, you're going to be surprised. Tell
It
us.
is. Did you try it out?
I did,
Did?
and my wife and I, when we stopped, like chuckling about how we looked, it was, hey, this works.
It is. And it's one of those things that I was dubious of. Um, and I really recommend it for people working in tire shops or warehouses or manufacturing that doesn't have good airflow. It really makes a difference. I think it's not uncommon for me to spend a day, a week, or a month in the warehouse evaluating operations and pulling orders 8, 10 hours a day. I like to do that because it informs my product development mind. And I wore the prototype of this last summer in our hot, humid Ohio warehouse, and it made all the difference in the world. And I'm at work and I'm not on a date. I'm not on, a runway. It's comfortable. It made a big difference in the way my day went. And so, yeah, certainly not a fashion statement. I'm not sure that too many of our products are a fashion statement, perhaps with the exception of Canyon that we'll talk about. But it makes a huge difference. And I know folks in that workwear environment, they're also wearing bright yellow high vis vests. They're interested in comfort and safety. And this certainly assists with the comfort.
And there are two fans in the back
Yes.
that more or less turn the shell into an inflatable tent. I don't know how else to put it.
It certainly does expand, and we'll have some video showing that. It also along the neck you can snap the Gobi tag, and it opens up a channel so the air blows up the back of your neck. So you've got that refreshing cooling to your neck also. So yeah, you can also take the sleeves off, which you would think would really make it less effective, but it's just this airflow that goes through. And so I think it's a beautiful color and it's very lightweight. The fabric is super soft, and I have absolutely no problem with wearing it myself or having my staff wear it. It's fantastic.
Again, that's the Aero Vent, AERO vent, and and the battery life is pretty impressive too. It can get you, I think, pretty much through a workday fairly.
Oh, yes, it will absolutely get you through a work day. There's high, medium, low. Obviously, that's pretty standard with most of our products that are powered. And yeah, it'll get you through the day. And of course, with most of our batteries, you can also charge your devices with it as well.
And then seemingly a more complicated challenge technologically is your are your garments that circulate cold water, including the
Yes.
Canyon cooling vest. So tell us about that and the work that must have gone into creating this.
Yes, so it was so the ice water circulated technology is really the first foot we put forward with cooling. And what it is basically it's a matrix of channels on a chest on chest panels and on the back panels, and it's very much full coverage. And in the back, you've got a little bladder, very similar to what you might have with a hiking backpack, hydration pack. You put about a Dasani's worth bottles worth of water in there, about 16, 17 ounces. You put one of our ice plates in there. That's your typical camping cooler ice plate. You can actually use anyone's ice plate if you would like. You put the ice plate in, you turn it on. There's a mode that will turn it on and off for eco, we call it eco mode, where it lasts longer, or you can have a continual cycling of the cold water and it keeps you cool. Um, if it stops keeping you cool, you throw another ice pack in there and problem solved. We sell 5 packs of ice packs. And then we also sell a little bag that you can take to the job site or your event with additional ice packs in there. Um, Again, it depends on it's very different. 85 degrees is going to have a very different experience than 115. So we designed for that. If you need backup ice packs, you can certainly take those along with you.
And again, there are several levels that you can choose from in terms of, I guess, how much circulation or how often the pump runs because it will turn off and then come back on. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny. It sounds like your tummy's gurgling, but it's the
It does
water.
have a little gurgle to it. It does when it's kind of filling up those air channels to begin with. And then depending on how much water you put in, it'll have significantly less gurgles if you put more water in. Um, I like to I like to start with water from the fridge. It's cold. I put an ice pack in and I fill it pretty well up. The less water you're going to put in there, the quicker the water will get warmed up. Some people don't like the weight that comes with that. So you can really individualize and customize your experience. So there's eco mode and then there's the regular mode. Regular is a continual pump. Eco pulses on and off.
And besides the Canyon cooling vest, and there is a youth model we should mention too, which is
Yes. We
great for kids.
specifically got thinking about all those kids sitting in dugouts and sidelines and so some of these kids even as young as 8 are getting ready for a serious career, and being able to put your vest on in between innings or uh, whatever sport you're playing can improve your recovery for the next inning. So we uh, we thought it would be worth doing a youth cooling version, excuse me, a youth canyon version, and it's been very well received. And there's men's and women's, there's tan and gray, and it really looks like pretty much any summer vest that you would buy from a big name retailer at Shields or REI, if you will.
Terrific. You have another cooling vest, the Breeze and Breeze 2, is that right?
Breeze was the original iteration of our cooling, and we learned a lot quickly with some improvements we could make. Not necessarily to the cooling system itself, but the way it attaches, the sizing. We did some adjustable straps and released a Breeze 2. And this is much more of a utilitarian, um, maybe even workwear, great for parking attendants, um, parks and rec staff, construction workers, people working on the road. There's a high vis version, and I think it's having an impact on daily lives, and that's what we seek to do.
Just terrific. And you're also using the technology that you have in a chair?
Yes, yes, we have the Zephyr cooling chair. It is very much the same ice water circulation. There's a little bladder just to the left of where you sit. You put some water in there, you put an ice pack in there, you turn it on, and it will circulate water through channels on your back and on the seat of the chair. If any of you are familiar with our terrain heated camping chair, it's basically the cooling version of that with ice water. It's got the standard features that you would expect with cup holders and cell phone holders and what have you. And that really came again from the youth sports idea and camping, where you're out there and you're just that little bit of extra comfort changes your experience.
Really can. So we've talked before, Jay, about your focus and what sets Gobi Heat apart. Being a female-owned business really has made a difference, I think.
I think so. And honestly, Fred, I resisted that very early on. I I don't feel like I'm handicapped in any way by being female. But I gradually did begin to learn through reading studies the opportunities for women are are often reduced. You look at the studies, even the income disparity, right? It's no question. And so I do think a lot of people understand that potentially it's harder to grow a business as a female. There are studies out there. We're offered less financial um, opportunities, lending, investment. It just remains a disparity. And so I do think there are people out there that understand that the percentage of female founders that get to the 10-year mark on a multi-million dollar business is very, very tiny compared to men. And we actually celebrate our 10-year anniversary next month.
That is really wonderful. Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you.
And I think it matters too in your designs, which are, as everyone's heard here, built for real conditions. You're keeping that in mind, but when possible, the style is there too. And I think that goes back to your original decision to start the company, right? That the
Yes.
styles weren't there for women in terms of heated clothing.
No, and that, that's rooted in a reality, right? There's what is and what we think should be, right? Back when some of these tool brands were starting to release heated apparel, they were thinking the market is male. Men are working outside. Men get cold outside. Let's make a bunch of men stuff. And then just like, hey, you should do cooling, somewhere along the line it was, hey, let's do a women's one, with perhaps not too much thought on what that should look like from a visual experience standpoint. So we've always sought to think about the different individuals. I'll be honest, there's styles that I design for that I won't wear because they're not my personal style. But there are women out there, it is their personal style. And so you have to think about all of the different people in your market and what it is they're looking for, not just this is the Gobi heated jacket for women, but these are the offerings. These are the things you can choose from. Do you want long? Do you want short? Do you want fur on the hood? Do you hate fur on the hood? Do you want heat in the pocket or you don't really want heat in the pocket? It gives people choices for what fits their individual use case.
Well, congratulations on everything you've been able to accomplish there. The site is Gobi Heat, Gobi Heat.com. Jaye Genung, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thanks, Fred.
The Haven 10,000 lantern is a smartly designed, beautiful solar light that you will love indoors or out. It is waterproof with up to 1,200 lumens of brightness, that's a lot of light, and the base becomes a flashlight at the push of a button. The power comes from a built-in lithium-ion battery recharged by the sun, the solar panel is built in, or USB-C. The battery can even recharge your phone. Did we mention how durable it is? How it folds down and can run for up to 120 hours on a charge? But the real power of the Haven Lantern comes from the people behind it and their mission to provide this quality lighting to those in the world who need it most, including in disaster emergencies. Your purchase helps to fund those efforts, and if you use the code Techstination20, you'll get it at a 20% discount. That's Techstination20 at havenlantern.com. Create your haven.